and thank you for joining us for this week's Scots in Us podcast. We're joining Author, which is a design studio, bespoke furniture, interior designs, headed up by Jane Adams, their founder. And we are going to begin the programme by joining Jane down in London, where they are at the London Art Fair, which took place the other week. They were asked to curate the VIP and Collectors Lounge. And as we joined her there, we saw some wonderful young new designers from Britain and Scotland that we thought we'd also like to learn a little bit more about. So let's begin our conversation as Jane takes us around the London Art Fair. Jane, thank you for joining us today as you're in the midst of this incredibly busy week. You're down from Aberdeen, you're down at the London Art Fair, which is back for the first time since 2019. And you were telling me that it's been going for 34 years in Islington now, which is fabulous.
That's right. It is. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. Great honor for us to be asked to be invited down to dress the VIP lounge. It's called the Collectors Lounge. So it sits very happily with Author and all the beautiful pieces that we collect and the makers that we showcase. So it's lovely, Camilla, very exciting.
Well, I think the fact that you've been spotlighted in this way on your first visit is fantastic. And this is an art fair, and the art plays such a huge part in interiors and bringing them forward. So we love our antiques and our collectibles, but if one can pop it with something contemporary, it can make all the difference.
Very much so.
So I thought, shall we go for a little walk? And maybe, we could, what I'd love to hear from you is about maybe a few of the pieces that you're finding the most interesting and how you would work them in.
Of course. Well, we've been able to bring down a selection of pieces from makers from around the British Isles. So many from Scotland have come all the way down, and we've had one or two from our makers that have dropped off who are London-based or England-based. So we've got a wonderful mixture, and we've been able to curate all sorts of different little room sets, almost little schemes for people to come. It's a living space right now, so there's people sitting in here chatting. It's a VIP lounge, so people can come in and get a little bit of peace away from the main space upstairs. So let me have a wee show. I'm going to flip you round and let me show you one or two beautiful things that we brought down. So this is a pair of gorgeous hand whittled, so like whittling spoons, but hand whittled chairs from Wales, made by a gorgeous company called Knowles and Christou, who are a very clever people. And this is the most beautiful mid-century oak and leather bench made by the great Scot Namon Gaston, who's based in Edinburgh. And it's the most gorgeous piece. It was created in 2012, but it looks like a very, it's mid-century inspired piece. A lovely Simon Laurie, a great Scottish gentleman there. Beautiful piece. And we paired that with the most beautiful oak. It's a concertina. It's inspired by an old-fashioned clothes. Do you remember drying your clothes in a clothing rack? And it's beautiful, holding all sorts of special pieces of porcelain and china that we have there, including this gorgeous Draff.
And you will have that on your website.
All of these pieces are available. Absolutely, they're all available on the website, Camilla, to purchase, and we tell all the stories. So that's why we're Author. We tell the stories of all the pieces and of all the makers, giving as much information as we can so people can understand, oh, this is a very special chair, this one. This is called the Monarch chair, and this is made by Hugh Parsons in Edinburgh. And the number one of this chair is currently in Edinburgh Castle. Isn't it gorgeous? Beautiful piece.
You know, the washing rack, the drying rack that you did, that will ship really well to the States.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
You're right. It's a magical piece because it collapses down. So when people are moving, shelving can be quite tricky, can't it? But it's a really beautiful piece on its own right, but very practical as well, which is magical. And this is a lovely, we can mix styles quite happily. So a very simplistic shaker style peg stool. Again, this collapses down, easy to post brilliantly. And this is made by a lovely gentleman in Dundee in Scotland. And it is, the top section is Draff. So that is a beer draff, the waste product from making beer. And he puts it in a resin base, and then you create all these beautiful pieces of furniture. So it's a lovely, very simplistic, but beautifully crafted, beautiful, isn't it? So that's great fun. So I've had fun with all of these pieces, and there's so much more, Camilla. I want to show you more. There's more of, oh, this is a gorgeous thing. This is called the crab stool. It's actually amazingly comfortable, but it's got these pincer-like legs.
Right.
This is made by Max McCants in Fife, the glorious kingdom of Fife, and he's mixed timbers with all these beautiful rods. It's a work of art, that, Camilla. Now with Max, we can get all of these pieces can be bespoke. So if somebody wanted a long bench like that, Max could make that for us. Or this will easily pop in the post. It's quite heavy, having saying that, but it'll ship without a worry. And look at this magical thing. Very sturdy. I know, it's a stool. That's by a great company called PHAT, P-H-A-T, and it's a lovely pair of a gorgeous young pair who are based in Newcastle, and they've made this beautiful chunky legged oak stool, very heavy.
I just think that they're fabulous.
Oh, it's magical. This is Katie Walker, a beautiful rocking chair. That's won a designer guild mark. It's a classic piece, again available in walnut. All of these things can be shipped without a worry to the States. We just create them and they go beautifully. This is a very clever gentleman, Neil Lemaire. He's a bronze maker. He works in all sorts of beautiful bronze pieces, and these are exclusive to us pieces. Very beautiful. This is a concrete base, little gin table for you, Camilla. You never have too many gin tables, I don't think. And then over here, this is another PHAT design with these amazing ebonized pebbles for legs. Isn't that gorgeous?
I think those are stunning art pieces, functional art.
And this is very beautiful. So this is an embroidered piece. It's got peacock feathers. Isn't that beautiful? It's a velvet base with embroidered. Can you see this okay, Camilla? Isn't it gorgeous?
I can. Yes.
Rich jewel-like colours.
Am I correct in calling it functional art?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. You want people to use it.
Usable art. Yeah,
absolutely.
Fantastic.
Art pieces in your home. And these are these beautiful bronzes, which are made by Alice. This is figs that she's picked. These are, I think, from Hugh. And she's picked, and she uses the lost wax technique to create all these beautiful pieces. A lovely tray. You've got one of these. This is a Tom Trimmins tray. And there's a large ebonized oak version.
I love the ebony. I think it's always wonderful when the blacks can pop in so much, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, the finish is very special.
So you're at the fair for the next few days.
Yes.
And those lamps are unusual, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I know.
But we have
these gorgeous duck feet.
Now with the lamp, do you change the power for the United States, or would we need to do that?
We can, no, when we order these pieces, these are made to order pieces. So when we order them, they'll be wired for the US, for the States.
That's
and then they get shipped out, and they'll be shipped separately. Some people actually just take the base, the lamp base on its own, and buy a shade out in the States. But with Porto Romano, these are Porto Romano pieces, and they really are very special, Camilla. They are functional art. They're works, sculptural pieces of art, and they're real investment. Now that's my own personal one. I've had at home, and I've had that for about 18 years. I'm embarrassed to say, and they're still producing it, and it looks as fresh as daisy. But that sits beautifully in a classical home, paneling on the walls, just a little nod of quirk, and it makes everybody smile. That's what it should be about, isn't it?
Well, you've been recognized by the BBC in the middle of the pandemic for your wonderful design aesthetic, and they came up to see you, didn't they, in Aberdeenshire during that time?
Yes, that's right. We had some lovely It was, yeah, it was the home of the year, Scotland's home of the year. So we had some great fun with that. The children were mortified, but yeah, no, very, very, very nice to be able to be part of that whole process, Camilla.
And to be part of this is great because, you know, when we think about decorating a home, we think about, you know, the sofa and the carpet and everything, but you're at an art fair and the art you put in can really make all the difference with these type of pieces to a room. What have you felt the most, you've got the most from this event? What is it, have you found some wonderful things?
Yeah, and the opportunity for us, the opportunity to be recognised, to be part of such a prestigious event for us is magical. To interact with so many interesting artists and makers has been great. To meet some of our makers as well down here, because we're rural in Scotland, Camilla. For us to have the opportunity to spread our wings a little bit, it's great. Working in Scotland is magical, but the rural location can be challenging.
Yeah. And
the world can be so small on one hand, but equally large on the other. So for us to be an international London platform is really powerful and really valuable.
You know, one of the troubles we have with, you know, the electronic catalogs and everything is that we see just the picture. But when you went up close and went around those tables or showed us the in-depth look at the top of it, that makes a difference. So I think, you know, having this opportunity to be able to show more of the object is important. And that's why coming to these fairs or taking a journey with you as we are today is fantastic, because we get that closer insight, which we do need.
Absolutely. I know it's the physical pieces. They are physical. You do need to see and touch them. And also it's that building a rapport with an understanding of the sort of pieces that we have. So if you've seen one or two, then perhaps when you look at something online, there's a level of trust that we need to build up, Camilla. And this allows us to build that trust in a physical location, which is really key and important. And then people can understand our values, the sorts of pieces and makers that we bring on board, and even the choices of pieces that we make. We don't bring on all the pieces from a maker. We choose the pieces that we feel are most appropriate, that match our style, that we feel will work in people's homes and spaces. So it's really quite key to be able to showcase that, which is magical. And we've had, interestingly enough, we've had quite a lot of American visitors here who are based in London, but the appreciation for what we're trying to achieve and do is huge. It's magic. It's really powerful. So that linkage with Scots and the States is strong no matter where you are. You don't have to be in Scotland or in the States. It's a lovely, solid link. So for us, this is really powerful to chat to you and your members. It's great.
So, so is art the main component and the accessories are a secondary part of the fair? How does it, are they? Because when we go to some of the Arsenal art fairs here, is very much the art, but they seem to be appreciating the objects as well here.
Yeah, so the exhibitors, the galleries that are properly exhibiting in the main exhibiting space are all art galleries. So it's the work is mostly wall-based art, paintings, sculpture, some installations, but it's mostly wall art. So mixed media, oils, acrylics, beautiful bronzes, some amazing stone sculptural pieces. But the joy of here is that we're able to showcase functional pieces. So as you say, these amazing chairs that you can sit in and use. And the joy is members and VIPs are coming in, having meetings, interacting, and they're sitting and using the pieces as they ought to be. We're not remotely precious. We want people to use these things. That's the point. I want people to interact with them. And these are, as you say, functional art. That's a classic descriptive phrase, Camilla, which is really powerful. They are for using, but for enjoying. You know, I love and having the stories behind the pieces. People really value that, understanding how somebody's made it, who has made it, and they get an immediate emotional connection.
because it's always
That's
lovely
magic.
having this chance to catch up with you. And I'm really, really grateful that you've taken us into the London Art Fair and given us this wonderful insight. So
A pleasure, Camilla, a pleasure.
So welcome back. And today we're going to go up to Angus in Scotland. Jane has returned from London and her exhausting week at the London Art Fair. And we're going to join Jane to learn more about some of the wonderful young designers that she spotlighted in our previous segment. Jane, good morning.
Hi, Camilla. Hello, lovely to see you.
You're looking rested.
What do you think? Good.
A very big week for you.
Yeah.
And so when we were talking the other day, it really was fascinating to learn about so many of these young, interesting new design sources that you have. And as I was thinking about it, there's never been a better time to be buying British. The dollar pound is at a historic level. This morning, I think it was at $1.25 to pound.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about buying with you from your fabulous website, which I have to say is so easy to use, your pricing in pounds also includes 20% VAT, which of course comes off.
That's
and
right.
Equates quite well to what it will cost to ship the piece. And then as an ASF member, they also can receive a 5% discount. So all in all, these fabulous, unique, very edgy pieces that are classic. It's what did I think of calling it the other day? I think we called it functional art, didn't we?
We did.
It really is. And so shall we begin by meeting fact design? And
absolutely.
And shall we look at, first of all, at this wonderful red stool, which I think is absolutely lovely, the terracotta red stool, which you have listed at £1,900. So just over 2,000 delivered right to them. Can you tell us about this young design studio?
Absolutely. So Fat Design is a gorgeous couple, beautiful young people, Claudia and Christian, who are based in Northumberland, just in northern England. I met them in 2019 down, I think it was at Decorex in 2019, which is a London-based show. And that was the first time I came across them. And they are filled with joie de vivre and life. They're beautiful, beautiful couple, but they have created these very solid architectural stools. So you can either pop your bottom on them, sit on them, very firm, beautifully crafted and made, or you can use them as a side table, occasional side table. But it's that classical functional art, as you're saying, Camilla. They are stunning. Their profile is beautiful. Their solidity is amazing. They're handcrafted out of oak, and everything about them is just magical. So one of them is ebonized, lovely dark ebonized pebble-like. Each piece has been carved and then smoothed down to such a degree that you want to kind of clasp them. They're lovely sculptural pieces. And the other one is a much more cone style structured creature, which can either come in that vibrant orange or the one we had at the show that I think we saw together was a natural oak. And that can fit anywhere, frankly. But it doesn't need to sit in a contemporary, clean, loft style space at all. It can happily be popped in beside a gorgeous old-fashioned chair, beside in your bathroom. You know, all these, it's stunning. These are beautiful pieces. But as a couple, they are a joy to, it's a pleasure to be able to showcase work like that from designers of that caliber. It's lovely.
But it is so Koons inspired.
You're right.
And I thought that when we visited with you at the art fair, we all like to give our homes a little bit of freshness. And I love mixing antiques with some really interesting contemporary pieces, like contemporary art or a lamp or whatever. And these, I think, are a great accent.
Absolutely. No, they're wonderful, very easy to use. And again, their solidity lends to easy shipping, frankly. They're solid, they are easy to put in a crate and ship across to the States. So it's not a frightening process to go through. As you were speaking about exporting from Britain over to the States, it's never been easier. Shipping companies they're getting their act together. It's a joy to be dealing with them. And we have been, gosh, shipping all over the place to the States, which is lovely for us, and Northern America as well, which is super. And ceramics, as well as bronzes, as well as occasional tables like this, lamps, lighting. So it's for us, it's really exciting, and it's a joy to interact with art appreciators and people who really value British made, the craftsmanship behind it. So there's a lovely connection.
Well, the one piece that I think we all should be thinking about is this folding laundry shelving rack, which could not be simpler to ship either. And that is another £1,900 piece.
Yes.
But you've got a whole shelving unit with this. And that, can you tell us a bit about Mandy, who is the designer around this piece, and other things she might do?
Mandy, again, is a very clever one-man band furniture maker. So she crafts all of these herself by hand. She's based down in London, and the piece is inspired from the collapsible clothing rails that your grandmother would have had, that you remember they used to go up, concertinaed, I guess is the right word, that collapses right down. And the joy about it is it allows you to have a piece which is completely mobile. So a lot of us are in rental accommodation, we're moving around, we don't want to have fixed heavy pieces screwed to walls that we can't, take with us.
And in itself, it's a divider.
Yes, absolutely, you're quite right. It's really so valuable and useful. And when at the London show, when Mandy popped in with the piece that you saw, she had it virtually under her arm. So it collapses right down, and we can post it quite simply. But it's just a really adaptable, usable piece. The one that you saw was made in oak, natural oak, and some of the shelving, you can play about with the shelves a little bit and either have them as a natural oak or an ebonized, which is a lovely dark oak. So it gives you the capacity to play around, but it's tactile, it's warm, and it's a brilliant bit of kit. I think it's fab. She's a very clever lady. And
then there's the wonderful Edinburgh workshop of Hugh Parsons and his Edinburgh chair. Is it called the Monarch chair?
The Monarch.
Which you said was in Edinburgh. One of them is in Edinburgh Castle now.
Yeah, the first one he crafted is in Edinburgh Castle. So that is a beautiful piece. Hugh, again, highly talented furniture maker. Everything he does has got such elegance, and he gets the proportions beautifully. He's very good at his proportions, and his execution is fantastic. And that chair is lovely. That is a classic. That's a modern classic, Camilla. It's stunning.
And it's again £1,900.
Yes. I know how you managed to choose all these ones at 1900. I don't know who did that.
And it's got leather upholstery to it, the seating, etc., which you can customize, I believe, can't you?
Yeah, with all of these things, they would be made to order. So if somebody had loved the design but had a desire for a scarlet leather or a navy blue or whatever was chosen, that all of that is completely manageable. But it is arts and crafts inspired, and just it's quite a masculine looking piece actually. It sits very happily in a club style setting, but it's just beautiful, very comfortable, and we had lots of people sitting on it at the art fair actually enjoying the comfort. Yes, you're right, absolutely, resting legs and yeah, just is beautiful.
Also, the other thing that I really loved were the accent pieces, and in particular the lamp you had with the web feet of the duck. And could you tell us a little bit about that piece? Because that, I believe, is around £1,400 and is a fabulous piece, and it would be wired for the States. So, people can buy it and be able to use it.
That's right. So the lighting, that's a classic piece. It's iconic, that one, Camilla. It's been around for a wee while. It's made by a London-based company called Porta Romana. It's absolutely beautiful. It can come in different leg finishes. So your duck's feet can be either a silver or a gold. And they have a limited edition bronzed version now to celebrate what an iconic piece it is. It's a gorgeous thing. And yes, it's wired for US states and sent out, so it's fully wired. I mean, we can have it without the shade or with the shade. That is just, we've had one in our family home, gosh, for about 15 years. And it's just, every time we walk past it, it makes you smile. It's such a happy, uplifting piece. It's lovely. It's, again, a work of art, functional art. It's that classic, it's a piece of sculpture that I love. It's magic.
Jane, your background is interior design. You love it, and that's how Author came to be. That's right. I have to remind people that during lockdown, you were one of the finalists for the BBC Scotland Home of the Year, and had them descend upon you during COVID. And I mean, Author really has grown out of your love of working and discovering.
That's right. Unusual, beautiful pieces. Yeah, life is too short to fill your immediate vicinity with things you don't love, appreciate, and enjoy. And the provenance is so important, Camilla. Understanding where something has come from, mindful consumption, so appreciating the value of a piece and not buying for the sake of buying. So we're really trying to encourage everything we showcase on Author are very special, unique, beautiful things that I'm delighted and very proud to showcase.
Well, in the coming weeks, we're going to return as we begin to think of summer gift giving, weddings, and summer entertaining. And just as we close today, I wanted us to think of a few of the wonderful gift items that you do offer, such as one of my favorite things is the fun and colorful Iona Crawford napkins and linens.
Yes, she's very clever.
And I love
Glasgow girl. Yeah, absolutely. She's a great Glasgow girl. And she does a renowned textile designer, and lovely little cocktail napkin. You can't not have a cocktail napkin, Camilla. A lovely thing to have.
They make such a difference to the whole way you're entertaining in a simple, small way. And they set it off. And then those wonderful Cumbria glasses that we showcased earlier. Those the Cumbria are gorgeous.
Yeah, and a very heavy weight, very substantial, heavyweight. They're beautiful, and the cut is lovely. So a classical cut, but it's got a little bit of a contemporary modern edge. It's not overtly fussy. It's lovely. Yeah, you're right.
And then you have a wonderful range of throws.
Yes.
We have cool nights in the summer, and nothing is better than having a throw that you can pull off the sofa or pull around your legs. I think that they are gorgeous, and I love the mohair ones in particular.
They're good fun. They're lovely, lovely colors as well, uplifting colors. I know your nights are not as chilly as our nights, I have to admit, Camilla. And where we are in Angus, jolly chilly. Always have to have a throw within arm's reach. But yeah, no, they're very useful.
So let's return in a few weeks' time and as we start to think summer and all that we can do. And but this has been wonderful to discuss this really exciting time in furniture making and this other area of art, because we all love paintings and sculpture, but really this is a wonderful time for some very interesting new furniture makers.
Absolutely, very much so, and a joy to be able to support and be with them on their journey, frankly, see what's going on. We get the opportunity to collaborate with makers too, so where we can, it's lovely to be able to do a limited edition or a design, or if a client is very keen to have something that's really, really unique, we can work with the client and create special things in special colorways or sizes or shapes. So it's an absolute joy. It's great. Yeah, no day is boring, Camilla. It's all good fun.
Well, to seeing you again soon, and to thank you for giving us this time, because as I say, this has been a very, very busy time for you. And thank you.
Pleasure. Nice to see you, Camilla. Thank you.
to